Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Thank dog. It's Friday. Oh my God. Is it Friday already?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I need it to be Friday, but like, I feel like I blinked and this week just flew by.
Yep.
So anyway, yay, it's Friday. Thank doggy. It's Friday. We've got
Yep.
our doggy here to celebrate. I've got mine here too.
We've got Hank here who's pretending like he's gonna go ahead and take a nap on the table, but we'll see. We'll see
Oh,
how long he
yeah.
lasts up here.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Hi, everybody. If you don't know who we are, I'm Patty. I'm here with the amazing Hillary and her lovable sidekick, one of her lovable sidekicks, Hank. And we're so excited to be with you here today. Every Friday is such a special day for us because we get to pause, kind of just let the rest of the world disappear, and we get to do some fun, creative things. Most often in honor of our love for
Yep.
pups, since they are our heart. They're in our heart, in our families, and we love to celebrate them, right?
So
So today's project is all about a upcycled mason jar centerpiece it was inspired by a craft done by Kathy Fillion. So if you're not familiar with her work, please go check it out at Kathy Fillion. Definitely on Instagram for sure.
yep.
She's got all kinds of fun things to do.
Yeah, and I think she's on TikTok as well. And I
Okay.
think it's
Perfect.
Handmade Happy Hour, I think is the
Okay.
TikTok one. So
Yeah.
yeah, check out there's a link in the description as well, or her in the description. But yeah, she does some amazing stuff. So definitely
Yeah.
worth a follow there.
Yeah. So
yep.
just came across her work. Thank goodness. Sometimes the algorithm works in your favor when
Yep.
something pops up and you actually love it. It's like, hey. So anyway, totally fell in love with this craft. We had to give it a try. We're putting our little spin on it. So it's a little slightly different, but definitely something that's going to give you, I said in the description, something that's going to give you heart eyes, because like this is so pretty. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun, and we're going to jump right into it. So basically all you need is a mason jar from Dollar Tree. Ours look a little different than what you see on the shelf because we've already done the next step. So you're going to want to remove the lid. Whoa. Mine's dancing all over the place. It's got more energy than I do this morning. Let me grab it real quick. So the reason why I want to mention the lid is save the lid. We're going to be using this in an upcoming craft. So don't toss the lid. So we've got a really fun ideas for that one. But you take the lid off, and then you're going to give it 2 coats of paint with some white chalk paint. So whatever white chalk paint brand you love. I know Walmart's got some good brands, Hobby Lobby, you can find it there. And certainly we've got some links to Amazon products.
Yep.
So if you don't have any craft stores near you or can't find, sometimes Dollar Trees don't all have the same thing, you can grab some from them.
And I definitely recommend when you're trying to paint on like glass like this, it's best to use a sponge or something like that, because otherwise you get tons of streaks. It's kind of hard to work with. And Dollar Tree has these a little 3-pack of these sponges that work just perfect. And you just tap on, like you wouldn't, don't try to rub it on, just tap it on like you would if you were sponge painting. And then you're going to need 2 coats, but then it's all going to get covered up anyway. So don't worry. Like you can see there's a little bit of glass showing through around the rim and stuff like that. That's not that big of a deal. Really what you're wanting to do is create that nice base coat on the actual surface of the jar here.
Yeah. And you don't have to paint the bottom either.
Yeah. Or the inside. So
or the
just
inside.
Doing the outside.
Yeah. Just doing the outside. And the reason you don't want to skip this step is because we're doing napkin decoupage on top. And if you don't paint your glass white, it will really change the colors of the napkins that you're going to put on top here. It will make them duller. It won't make them as vibrant. So the white background, and you could do 1 coat if you wanted to, but really the 2 coats gives you a nice solid background for the napkin. And it really makes those colors and designs pop. It really adds to the luxury of this craft when it's all done. So again, no need to paint on the inside, no need to paint on the bottom, but 2 coats on the sides. And let that dry, or I just use a hair dryer real quick to chalk paint dries pretty quickly anyway. So did that to make sure that that's all nice and dry. And then the next step is to take some dishwasher safe Mod Podge. And we're going to do a coat. We're not going to coat the whole thing. We're just going to coat. I would say pick the front. And the only reason I say pick the front of your glass is because sometimes the glass will have these ounce markings on them. And when you put decoupage over it with anything, any kind of paper or fabric or whatever, it's going to get bumpy. So that's probably not going to be the front of your jar. So I would pick one of the smooth sides of your jar. And then we're just going to put a thin coat of Mod Podge just down a couple inches in size. But before we do that, I'm jumping ahead. We need to pick out our napkins. And so I found some really fun, I mean, we could paint it, but the Mod Podge would start to dry. So, or we could put the Mod Podge on, but it'd start to dry. I found some really cute napkins. Oh, and the more flowers, the better, right? Like, so pretty. I grabbed this one because the blue and white chinoiserie is a total trend right now. Yep. So I grabbed some of these, and plus I love blue and white's always on trend for me. So it's my favorite color combination. So I grabbed some of these. And if you're not sure where to go grab some pretty napkins, again, we have some linked from Amazon, so you can always grab them there. But Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, those kinds of stores have really beautiful napkins, and you can usually get them at a really good price. So just a tip on where to go find them. And then you're going to, mine are guest napkins. You don't have to use guest napkins, the taller ones. You can use the square ones, but you're going to want to cut your napkin. You're going to open it up and cut it so that there's enough that'll overlap on the front and the bottom. So just make sure it's a little oversized to your to your jar. And then you're going to remove the back layer. So Kathy did a different technique, and it was a little challenging for me. So I ended up kind of modifying this part of the project. So napkins typically have 3-ply. Sometimes they're 2-ply. If they're 2-ply, you don't need to remove the back. If they're 3-ply, just take that. There's usually like a printed ply and then 2 white back plies. Just take one of the back plies off, and you can set that aside. What will happen is if you take off all the plies, the napkin becomes really fragile to work with. It's very delicate. And when you put it on the wet Mod Podge, it's more likely to tear or has a greater chance of tearing. So an expert like Kathy could do this really easily. It was harder for me to do it with 1 ply. So I would just recommend just taking 1 ply off the back. So you're left with 2 ply. And then we're going to Mod Podge a section of this, and then we're going to lay our napkin down with it being overlapped a little bit on the front and on the back. Because we're going to wrap the front, the top, and the bottom when we're at that point. So let's go ahead and add some Mod Podge now.
And mine are 2-ply. My napkins are 2-ply, so I'm just starting straight with the napkin. The other thing is, again, it's one of the things that'll kind of change the colors again. So it's sort of like putting that white background. Yes. If you just have that top layer, it gets really thin. So then it's even more important that you have a nice white background that you're putting it on top
2 coats. Of. Yeah, 2 coats of that acrylic paint. Yeah. You can use any kind of Mod Podge, but the reason we chose to do the dishwasher safe is because you can, once this is all coated with that dishwasher safe Mod Podge, you can actually put this, so that we're making little vases, you can actually put fresh flowers and water in your vase if you're using the dishwasher safe stuff, because it's kind of waterproof, which is kind of cool. All right.
And one of the things, like this jar is curved surfaces, things like that. So you will get wrinkles in this technique. You just have to kind of work with them. So don't try to get it perfect. It's just, there will be some kind of distortions and it sort of adds to the charm of the.
Yeah, that's the character. So just find the center of your napkin, or the piece on the napkin that you want to focus on the front of your jar. And this, I love this large kind of rose here or peony. So I just put that in the middle. And then I'm going to just continue adding some Mod Podge, just a nice thin layer. You don't want it real thick because then that'll contribute to adding bubbles and everything. Go ahead and do everywhere you've painted, just cover that with Mod Podge. So along the brim, along the side, and you can start adhering to the brim if you want. And again, you're going to get some wrinkles. If you find you've got some wrinkles that you'd like to get rid of, rather than pulling on the napkin, just simply tap the napkin down in those spots. They won't completely go away, but you will be able to minimize them. Basically, you're just touching that napkin where it's still wet from the Mod Podge underneath. But again, you will get, it's kind of adds to since it's an overall wrinkle, it adds to the overall texture of the piece. Rather than looking like a mistake or anything like that. So just kind of go with the wrinkles, embrace them. They're our friends on this project. And then when you get to if you have a jar that's got raised lettering, again, don't worry about, this is going to be the back of your jar. So just try to get your Mod Podge in and around all those letters, that raised text. Try not to have too much Mod Podge tucked in there. We want a thin coat everywhere because sometimes a little extra Mod Podge will be hiding in the raised lettering. And we'll just continue to wrap around. This is so easy, you guys. It's
anybody can do this one. And this would be such a fun one to do as like a craft party because you can have a bunch of different types of napkins that you can choose from. And these are almost impossible to make just one. And they go so well, like especially if you're using kind of different size jars and things, you can make a little collection of them.
Yeah. You could have bring your own napkin, BYON, to the party. All right, now you're going to have some overlap depending on how the size of your napkins and everything. So you will be trimming some off. You don't want to, there will be overlap, but you don't want a large overlap. Again, we just want enough to adhere the back together. I'm not there yet, but just kind of giving you a heads up. And we'll just press it down. And then just feel free to trim off that excess when you get to that point. And I'm not putting any Mod Podge on the bottom yet or over the edge of the rim yet, just where I've painted that white acrylic paint. All right. And then once I have the entire thing coated, then I can see how much I can trim off with my scissors. And I just leave like a little, just an inch or less than an inch overlap on the napkin. It's unbelievable how pretty they make napkins today. I feel like they're getting prettier and prettier every year.
Well, and it's so fun because it really changes what you wouldn't necessarily be drawn to as a vase. It's a completely different way to kind of look at it and look at the designs and things. So that's fun because you're sort of using it in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so once you have your vase covered and you've tapped out any wrinkles that you want to minimize, now we can start folding in. We can put Mod Podge on the bottom and over the brim and start adhering that down with some Mod Podge as well. So just getting in here, getting the bottom coated, nice thin coat. And then we're just gonna fold everything in. And there'll be a bunch of overlap, that's okay. All right. And the top, you don't want a ton of napkin over the edge on the top, over the lip. I would say like half an inch to an inch at most, because then you're going to have to be painting that Mod Podge. You basically want to cover the entire napkin with a coat of Mod Podge, a second coat of Mod Podge once we have this all adhered, and you don't want to go all the way deep in there. So trim it, I mean, just enough so that it covers the lip, basically. It doesn't have to be a lot. In fact, you can trim it at the lip if you don't want to go into the jar with Mod Podge either.
You can kind of almost tear it too, depending.
Yep, so. I've done that. Yeah. All right. And then we're just going to stick the top part down. Fold that in. So pretty. Oh my gosh. This is a heck of a lot easier than painting or drawing or
for sure.
Like cutting out flowers or even cutting out like separate pieces of napkins. I've seen that done too, which is so pretty. But if you have an all over napkin that's just gorgeous from the beginning, like why not just use the whole thing, right? I just think that's so nice and easy. So sweet. All right.
Well, and also depending on the look that you're going for, because this one, because of the wrinkles, because of the sort of texture that you get, there is a little bit more kind of boho look about this particular one. So, you know, like if you wanted to cut the individual flowers out, that gives you a sort of different look, a different feel. But this one has so much character. Just because you have you can kind of feel that little bit of the paper coming through and the wrinkles and stuff.
So this is where we're at so far. So Mod Podge, 2 coats of acrylic chalk paint on your jar. Then coat it with Mod Podge bit by bit as you're laying your napkin down and making sure you're tucking the bottom and the top over the edges. And then we're going to go back over everything, the whole napkin, with a second coat of Mod Podge. And I would, just as a tip, I would not do the inside rim so that you can turn this upside down and let that second coat dry without it sticking to anything. And then once the jar is dry, you can come back and do the Mod Podge on the inner rim. Would just be my tip, because this second coat takes a while to dry.
So, and my tip for that is I'm using just a little tripod here, and it's small enough that I can set the jar on top of it without it actually touching anything.
There you go.
So if you have something that you can sort of
a wine bottle even or something,
that sort of thing, you can also do that as well.
All right. So then the other tip at this time is to not go over your napkin with the Mod Podge over and over and over again, because what will happen is it'll start to bleed some of the colors of your napkin. So just be careful not to kind of put a nice thin coat and then work on another area. Don't keep going back over the same area a bunch, because it's possible, I've known from experience here, that it will bleed the colors, or you'll take some of those colors to the next section of the napkin.
And it's also, it increases the chance of tearing it, just because you're kind of
you're messing
going over those same spots over and over again. It'll weaken it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Just makes me happy. It reminds me of spring and summer and sunny days.
They are so fun.
And there's so many trends right now. Like fruit is a big trend. So if you've got strawberry napkins or lemons or oranges, those are on trend real big right now. Those would be cute. Obviously, I'm doing florals. The blue and white chinoiserie is really big too. So, and as Hillary mentioned, you could you're probably going to do more than one.
Yep.
And so it's fun to get different size jars, different napkins, or you could do all the same napkin, have the same theme. But it's so fun to kind of mix and match.
Well, and the prints really do work well together, even though they're all so bold. Like once you
Yes.
kind of have them going, like a few of them made, they really do coordinate. Like it's kind of amazing how well they go together.
It's I think boho is the perfect word for this, because it's like anything goes. We're just kind of mixing and matching all our favorite things. It's like Julie Andrews on Sound of Music, all of my favorite things. All right. Sweet. I think I'm there. You can see where you've painted because it's still glossy, a little wet. All right. And if you get a little tear in your napkin, you can just tap it down back in place. Don't worry about it. It's the overall look. Nobody will know if there's a little boo-boo in your napkin. I'm sorry, Hillary, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, and I was just going to say, like, with this coat, you can go a little heavier. So this overcoat, you can go a little heavier, but it is going to take quite a while to dry. So just know, like, this isn't something that you'll move forward with immediately.
Right, right. Exactly. All right. So I think this is safe to turn up. I'm just going to turn mine upside down. And if you're impatient like me, you can go run and grab the hairdryer or a heat gun and dry it a little faster. Again, it'll still take a few minutes under the dryer to heat or to dry. So, and as I mentioned, we're using the Dishwasher Safe Mod Podge because that gives you the flexibility of being able to add fresh water and fresh flowers into your vase. Although you can use faux flowers, those would be pretty too. And then I'm just going to set that over to the side, and I have another one. It's already dry. Really pretty napkins. They're so pretty. I'll use that for our next step. These are so fun. I love them. So pretty. Oh, I love that. So pretty. Look at all the daisies and flowers. It's unbelievable how these transform these
it is
jars.
Really
Unbelievable.
Really fun.
So pretty. So pretty. And my napkin, so this napkin has a little border on the bottom. It's a little stripe. So I wanted to make sure to like keep that stripe on my jar. So you can kind of think about where the placement of these things are and all kinds of stuff. And if I didn't want to use the border on one, but I wanted to use it on another one, you get the same napkin, but a couple different looks. So yeah, a lot of fun. So once your jar is dry with that second coat of Mod Podge on it, we're going to take some twine, just some jute twine. And we're going to wrap it.
I'm actually taking just some white twine. So really like whatever's going to work well with your napkin design. And again, this is another one where you could use, more natural. You could use yarn. You could really kind of find different ways.
Yeah. A really skinny ribbon, but so we're going to just wrap it around a few times. I'd say I like 4, but 4 or 5, I would say. And you want to leave a nice long tail. The idea is because we're going to add some embellishments to the end of the twine or the string. So that looks good. And then once you have the length that you like with some nice long tails, just tie a double knot. Again, thinking about the knot should be in the front where you're going to want to show off the front of the napkin, the front of the jar. So your double knot should be there.
And you can also use some hot glue if you're trying to get it to stay where you want to place it. Well.
Right, exactly. I'm going to grab some of my And then we're going to take some fun beads. We're going to string some beads and some charms to the end of this. And sometimes the easiest way to do that, depending on the size of the hole in your bead, is to take just a little bit of glue and add it to the bottom of your twine so it doesn't fray when you're trying to thread your beads and your charms.
Yeah, this is definitely an excellent tip, especially depending on like how big the size of the hole in your beads are. Yeah. This will make a huge difference.
Just makes it so much easier. Just a little dab of glue and then kind of make a point, or at least twist the end to
kind of hold them together.
Small as possible. Yeah. I'll do that for both. Really doesn't take a lot of glue. I need all the help I can get. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to help us out. All right.
And I love your beads. Yours are gorgeous. And we have some of the, so for all of the items that we're using, some of these are just from our craft stash, that sort of thing. But we have similar items linked from Amazon in the description. So if you're in need of some of those, and what I didn't have and what I couldn't get in time were some of the floral beads that you have that I just think are stunning.
They're so pretty.
And they go so well with this, especially like with that napkin that you're using. They work just so perfectly with it.
Right. Yeah. So and I try to coordinate the beads so this has got some orange and blues and greens in my napkin. So that's kind of the color theme that I'm working on with my beads. Unfortunately, I had these beads in my craft stash. I honestly don't even remember how long ago I got them, what I used them originally for, but I was like, yay, I have beads. I can put these on here. And yeah, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. Like here's a little orange. It's got a green stripe and some polka dots. Some of them have little swirls to them. So yeah, really pretty. And these are just, if you would like, again, we've got a link to these. So you can they're glass beads with large holes, basically. It's the description. I think they're made of Murano glass, so really pretty. All right, so now we're gonna kind of figure out where we want our beads. And I'm pretty much putting 3 beads on one, 2 beads on the other one, because the other one with 2 beads is going to have our cute little paw print charm at the end of it. So it'll pretty much be 3 and 3 kind of things. So, all right. Which one do I want to do? So string your beads. And for me, what I do is kind of assess where I want these to hang when they're where I kind of want them, how far down I want them to be. And then once I have kind of a general idea. So for this, I'm just doing the beads first without the paw print charm. And so what I'm doing, you can just tie a double knot, do whatever you want. I'm making a loop, a really large loop. And then I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to make a knot in that loop where I want the base of those beads to hang. So I'm going to end up with a large loop probably at the end, depending on how much extra twine you have. So I'm holding this up. Does this make sense? I'm just going to make a large loop.
Yep.
And you can either tuck the end of the little leftover end of the twine into the beads above. But if the hole isn't big enough, just cut that extra end off so you don't see it. And then the loop I'm cutting in half. I'm just going to cut the loop. And now I'm going to pull all of these threads apart and make myself a little tassel. And actually I don't need a tassel that long. So I'm going to cut the string to about 1 inch long. And then I'm just going to take all the little threads that make up that twine. And just pull them apart, pull them apart, pull them, get them all frazzled. Razzle dazzle.
So, and I just have my little beads here.
Oh, you're done already. Wow.
Yeah.
Cute. Can you show me those again? What did you do a tassel on yours?
I didn't. No.
Okay.
So mine has a little feather bead on one side and then a little paw print here on the other.
I love that.
So
you're super fast. All right. All right. So there's my little tassel that I made. And then I'll do this other one super quick here.
These, I might work on the rim of my other one.
Is it dry?
No, not yet, but
okay. Oh, putting Mod Podge on the inside? Yeah. Yep. All right, we're stringing our paw print, and this one just needs a single knot instead of a double knot.
I love how these turn out. Man, they're cute.
And then I'm going to take that end of the twine and I'm going to pull it up through those extra beads, those beads above, and I'm just going to cut so you can't see it. And oh, so cute, so fun. Here's my little.
I just love that one. It is so pretty. And I love the fact, like, I like that one has a stripe on it. So if you're, like, I would say, don't try to do plaids or something like that, or checkers. Like, those might be hard to keep all in the same place where you want them to go.
They're going to.
Jar.
Yeah, they're
gonna stripe you can do like that.
Yes.
You know, that's nice that you can still have some of those details and you won't have to worry about it. But if you are worried about it, just go for big flowers and things that, you know, you're not going to have to try to keep that pattern around the edge of your jar too.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I've got this cute blue one. Here's one from the original napkin that I made. So again, a little different beads. So pretty. I love this. So pretty, but I love the little paw print charm, and you can see the little flower beads and everything.
They turn out so cute.
And
all of it is so customizable. So like that's why it's such a perfect one to do like as a party or something like that, because everybody gets to pick their own beads. Everybody gets to pick their own napkins, and you all get to create something. Like, it's going to turn out beautiful, but you get to create something that is like, that speaks to you. So that is so fun.
Exactly. And then this one, I added a little purple bead because I ended up getting some purple flowers. So even if the purple isn't in the actual jar, you can add some extra colors there for embellishment. And then the final little accessory to my completed jar is more flowers. So, whoops, we've got one that's jump ship. There we go. So cute. I love these. So pretty.
You can see my kind of lemon version and then my flowered version. So you can see like how these can all go together. And I love the idea of mixing and matching sizes of jars as well. So don't just think of napkins and all the beads and all the accessories. You can, you can really customize them in so many different ways. So have fun with this. Yeah.
Exactly. Wouldn't this make just like the sweetest little Mother's Day gift, right? You could fill this with her favorite flowers. My mom loves daisies. And you can make a custom jar that matches her decor, or maybe it's a little something to add a little color to her life. You know? So I love this idea as a gift, a teacher gift, a Mother's Day gift, a birthday gift, a sister gift.
Even
I
a little,
also,
like if somebody's hosting you for Easter or something like that, this is a
oh,
super quick and easy one that you still have
little
time. You can just
hostess
grab a
gift.
jar out of
Yes.
your cupboard and grab a little fresh flowers. Who doesn't like fresh flowers? And if it
Yeah.
comes in a jar like this, like
Yes.
they're gonna love it.
Exactly, exactly. And then the other idea is to make a bunch of these with a bunch
Yep.
of different napkins and make like the most stunning table centerpiece. Even one is absolutely, it's going to be a conversation starter for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
But if you had a bunch of these all on your table, wouldn't that be so pretty for a garden party or a bridesmaid shower, bridal shower, or something like that? So anyway, yeah, have fun with it. Let your creativity go. This is so easy, so simple. You can do this easily in an hour or an afternoon. Yeah. And again, it's hard to make just one. So,
Yep.
so we encourage
fun.
you to keep doing it. Yeah. And if you make them, please tag us at Hound Hugger DIY. We would love to see your creations for sure. Thank you so much. We hope we've inspired you to get out there. Bring a little color into your life this weekend and have a happy Easter with your family and the ones you love. Thanks everybody.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.